Hello, everyone. Hello. Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Women Winning Wednesdays. I am Elsa W. Smith, your Maryland estate planning attorney, and I'm the owner of the law offices of Elsa W. Smith, where our mission is to empower women through estate planning. Again, I want to thank everyone who is joining us on this live. We are streaming live to my business page, the law offices of Elsa W. Smith, and for my many friends and family on my personal page, it's also streaming live there as well. For those of you who are joining us, make sure to give permission to StreamYard to view your comments. You can do that by going to streamyard.com/Facebook, and we'll be able to see your comments. I'm really excited about my first guest of this series, Women Winning Wednesdays, to describe Tina Marie Marshall as a talented, multi-dimensional, accomplished woman who is continually evolving and growing spiritually, professionally, and personally would not be an overstatement. Miss Marshall is a lifetime resident of Prince George's County, Maryland, something that she is very proud of. She is an outstanding product of its school system. Her family has deep roots in the county and the state of Maryland. While her entrepreneurial endeavors stem out of a desire to provide for her family, Miss Marshall intentionally focuses her efforts on ways to improve her community and its residents by establishing businesses and opportunities for its people to prosper. Miss Marshall continues to enjoy her career in the federal government with well over 15 years of civil service. Working a traditional 9-to-5 was just not enough for her. She needed to tap into her creative spirit and drive for more. And that birthed several businesses along the way. Now, some may consider these hot side hustles, but each has been successful on their own, and they have served as stepping stones to create more expansive and impactful business opportunities. The businesses that Miss Marshall has founded over the years fall under the umbrella of Fabulous Incorporated, or Fabulous Inc. The first one, it's a Fab Camp, an overnight summer camp experience that was launched back in 2009 out of a desire to enrich the lives of young girls with opportunities to teach and enhance etiquette skills, self-esteem, and improvement. One of her premier businesses, the Fabulous Life Event Company, that was launched in 2013. It's a full-service event planning entity that helps clients create simply fabulous events and occasions that they or their guests will not forget. Now, if that wasn't enough, Miss Marshall has established the Bankruptcy Boutique. It's a business born out of her own experience from moving from a financial crisis to success. As a bankruptcy petition preparer, she walks clients through the bankruptcy process and supports their efforts back to financial stability and prosperity. Now, with over 17 years as a licensed real estate agent, Miss Marshall is successfully providing services throughout Maryland, providing home buyers and sellers with professional, responsive, and attentive real estate services. She's an agent who really listens to what a buyer wants in a home. She is an agent who knows how to effectively market homes. Now, for the really big news. And I asked her if she wanted to announce this, but she asked me to go ahead and do that. In the midst of a worldwide pandemic, and despite many obstacles, Ms. Marshall has most recently become, drumroll please, a licensed real estate broker in the state of Maryland. That is no small feat, folks. Only a small percentage of realtors have accomplished that level of success. In this upcoming June in 2021, she is launching Maryland Prime Realty Company, the first of her independent boutique brokerage firms. This will be located in Clinton, Maryland. That entity seeks to meet the needs of homeowners in her community who wish to sell. It'll also serve prospective buyers, as well as providing a brokerage that other licensed real estate agents can work and partner with to provide high quality of service to clients. So stay tuned. There's so much more to come from this young lady. On a personal note, Miss Marshall is a committed Christian believer. She's a member of the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden, where she is pastored by Pastor John K. Jenkins Jr. She's a fervent student of the Bible. She currently serves as a vessel of honor in her church's Divine Discipleship for Sisters discipleship program. It's an intensive program that supports women as they grow in their commitment to Christ and propels them to live a more Christ-centered life. One of our special guest's proudest achievements is that of being a mother of two. Her son, Tyree, 25, and her daughter, Ari, who is 7. To know her is to know that her children are her heart and her greatest motivation to continue using her God-given abilities to create wealth and to demonstrate excellence. Finally, her life motto has always been, failure is not an option, and simply living well is the best revenge. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to give you Tina Marie Marshall. Hi, Tina Marie. Hi.
I almost didn't recognize myself. Thank you so much, Elsa.
You are so welcome, my dear. Welcome to Winning Wednesdays. You are my first guest, and no, we did not plan the wardrobe colors here. That's just divine. The divine spirit they're working. But Tina Marie, thank you so much for being a guest, and again, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start off. I mean, you have such an incredible background, and you're just everywhere. You're a multiple entrepreneur. I want to jump right into it because I want the viewers to really get to know you. Tell us about, right now we've got the big news that you've become a broker. Now, tell us how you got started in real estate, and then go into why you do it. Why are you so passionate about it?
I became a real estate truly because I started to look for my own home back in 2003. And I'm a person who reads a lot, researches a lot. And I really, really took a lot of time when I started to make preparations to become a homeowner. And I just wasn't getting the type of service or the people that I felt that were committed to me enough to help me understand the process, understand what I needed to do and what I didn't need to do in order to become a homeowner. So I said, you know what, pause. And I went to real estate school, and I decided I can figure this out. If they can do it, I could do it too. And I can figure this out for myself. And it took me about a year between graduating school and selling myself my own first home. It was life-changing for me and for my family. So from that evolution, 17 years ago almost to now, the Lord said, yes, go and help people, show them what you went through to be able to bless their homes and for it to change their family's financial future. I'm a person who comes from, to say lack is the least. I'm a person who comes from very, very humble beginnings, and been a very humble, probably first 30 or 40 years of my life. Here at 46 now, just being able to hopefully really, really begin to really, really be able to make effective change and give something back to my community, to my neighborhoods. And for me, it's not just something that I talk about. It's something that I truly live and believe with everything in me. I will always seek to spend $1 in my community, in my neighborhood, before I even buy a coffee at Starbucks. If there is any way I can wait or make my 7-year-old wait till we get home, until we get back to Clinton to service the one in my neighborhood, I do, and I wait. That's how much I believe in the power that we can change our communities by being a part of it, sowing our, and making our investments, sowing our money, and putting our dollars here where they count. So this evolution to the brokerage, now my new business, It was definitely a challenge to when the Lord said to go to school at the beginning of COVID. I was like, okay, now what? That was definitely not in my plan. It was definitely not at the moment that I chose, but I chose to be obedient and to see where God would lead me. And he led me to the point where I was able to register for school, go through that and all sorts of craziness and chaos. The pandemic was probably the easiest thing going on in my world at the time. And I was able to push through that, graduated class in school, and was able to eventually register and be able to sit for the national licensing for Maryland real estate brokers. So now, 6 weeks from now, or 6 weeks from that point, I'll be launching my own brokerage. It's a huge feat. And I actually just had a conversation with another broker another agent, this morning. And she said, well, why do your own brokerage? You know, you could do the same thing, sis. You could do the same thing for just working for another company. And I said, for me, it's important for me to not allow any other person, another company outside of my race, to benefit from my gifts. I want my gifts to be shared with my people, for us. For me, I'll take on this responsibility because it's that important to me. And she said, I understand. Makes complete sense. Now I get it, because I do get my money currently. So it's not about just the money. It's truly about helping to change the lives and to be that support system for other agents like me who really want to serve, who really want to make a difference and not just make money. Making money is good. It comes. And it's crazy at this point. For the first time in my life, I can say, truly, I don't even care about the money. It's a blessing to not have.
That is a blessing.
It's a blessing. So,
Tina Marie, now you know what I do. I do wills and estate planning for a living. And most of the people that I serve are, many of them are women. They are homeowners, and some of them are saving to purchase their first home. Can you talk a second to the women that are listening? Like, how important is having real estate as an asset, and what can that do for you in terms of empowerment?
I tell anyone that I talk to, real estate can change the entire trajectory of your life and your family's life. The legacy that you leave behind will be based on the assets, not just physical assets, but if you're able to leave them, less stress, less worry. That's half the battle, being able to start to plan for what we do with this asset. I can't tell you how many calls I get from women, particularly, who are saying, my mom just passed. Can you help me? What do I do? Can I sell her house? And I have to say, no, I can't help you sell that house, because it has to go to probate first, because generally they don't have wills. They don't have paperwork in place to determine what we do with those assets. But I will say that these assets, this real estate, holds up the entire economy globally, not the stuff that we buy, in the stores. E-commerce is one part of that. Real estate determines what happens in the world, in the world's economy. That's what drives it. To be an owner, to be a piece of something so great and so huge, is not just simply a place for you to have a roof over your head. That's the basic need. But the bigger picture is that you can be a part of what happens in our community as far as economics is concerned. When you pay taxes, you have a voice. When you pay taxes, you can call your local council people. You can say, hey, I want my roads cleaned up. Hey, I want to make sure that this trash is not dumped in my backyard. You have a place to be able to say, hey, I'm a taxpayer and I'm going to hold you accountable, council person, this person. So real estate is not just a place to live. It is a ticket to be able to have a seat, that proverbial seat at the table, to be able to be a part of those conversations and not just be subservient to it being a renter. During COVID, it was power in everyone who owned a home didn't have to pay their mortgages, period. The banks didn't ask you for anything. They simply said, tell us that you need help and you don't have to pay until we figure this thing out. The people who were in rental situations did not have that power. It's huge. The banks are working with people to help keep them in their homes. When you are a homeowner, the bank wants you in your home just as much as you want to be there. So that is life changing, as opposed to, okay, your rent is not paid on the 1st, it's past due on the 5th. Now you have a huge late fee, and now you're going to get filed on the court, ruining your credit and everything else. So it's much bigger than just being, for the sake of being a homeowner, or just to say you have a house. You're a much bigger part of a global global solution. So
Excellent information. Now I know, Tina, we talked before we went on air about your history. And even though you are I won't say the pinnacle because there's so much more to you. There's so much left, and just put it out there and claim it.
yes.
But you're at a level of success right now. But this is not how you began.
No.
And this segment, if nothing else, the purpose, or one of the purposes of Women Winning Wednesdays, is to give particularly the women who are watching a glimpse of what an empowered woman looks like. And myself included, it wasn't easy to get to where we are now. I have a successful law firm, but wasn't always the case. And there's growth pains and all that. Give us like a couple of just the real tough roadblocks that you had, that it wasn't just rosy for Tina Marie Marshall. Give us a couple.
I have a girlfriend who always says, life and my mom and my family never promised me a crystal staircase. There's never a crystal staircase before me. So again, coming up from the hood, very urban area, product of Palmer Park, Maryland, Landover. It was never a rich neighborhood, a wealthy area. But I came from that, overcame that, went to school, public school system, Prince George's County, Parkdale graduate, class of 92. Never had a college opportunity. I was able to take a few classes here that I could, pay for with grants and essays that I was able to write, and win a couple $1,000. So I took a few classes at Montgomery College at night. But I always worked. I always knew that, okay, I have to work, and working is paying the benefits. It's reaping the benefits. I'm seeing the efforts pay off. So I just kept working, stay at a job a few years and move up. Got married, was, divorced. So that is my testimony. It wasn't for me. At that time in my life, it was not for me. So I made the decision to walk away from a $500,000 house in 2007 when the market was crashing. I put my house up for sale. I wanted a divorce, and the house went to foreclosure. I said, hurry up, bank, foreclose on it. I don't care. It's just a vessel that was meant for a family. So now that family is no longer in place, let me move forward. I'm not going to sit here and cry and, pass out. I picked myself up and said, okay, Lord, what's next? And he said, if I gave it to you before, I can give it to you again. I stayed faithful. I went out there, partied, enjoyed myself, lived my life, reset my feet to what God's purpose was. And, I always had a heart for the Lord and things, for God. So he put me back on the path. And then my beautiful, baby girl, she came along a few years later, after trying for about 8 years. Nothing happened in my marriage. And then she came after marriage, so such is life. But I didn't at any point feel like this is too big for me. I always feel like, okay, God, what's next? What's next? I'm never, ever really sitting around idle.
Let me interject, and forgive me for interrupting you, but this is important because that transition, that divorce for many people, it's crushing. For some people, it is, okay, I'm writing the next chapter of my life. It is a rebirth. So where did you get that energy, that spirit to say, okay, I'm picking myself up? Because it's not, let's be real, that's not easy for many women going through divorce or having gone through divorce. It is emotionally taxing, right? So how did you do it?
I truly think for me, just knowing what God has told me specifically, like I didn't put you here to just exist in a marriage that you're not happy in. He didn't give us marriage for happiness. I get that. It's a whole conversation for another day. But I never at any point felt like my life was wrapped up and tied up, and the definition of it was based on a marriage. I always felt like I'm an individual with individual thoughts, and I have to show my child. At that time, I only had a 11, 12-year-old son. I have to show my child that this is what you do when things are not working out. Before you get to the point of your fussing and fighting and cursing, which we never did, you say, okay, this isn't working. This isn't for me, and be grown enough to say enough. Put the period at the end of it, and let's move forward. So my friends, my peers, people around me saying, "You're leaving that good man. I can't believe it." And I'm like, hey, this is the only choice that I have for me to really go forward and to really walk into where I'm supposed to be. This isn't it for me. This is not all I'm supposed to be, is the wife and the mother and the stepmom. I'm not, this is not for me. And that you have to be grown up enough to love people sometime and let them go. And I knew that for me, that's what I was doing at that point, because I wasn't completely in it emotionally. So to be fair to them, let me move forward. And like I said, my friends saw me go through that transition in time, and they said, you never missed a beat, because my faith was never shaken. My faith was never at a point where I thought, oh, I can't move forward. I don't think that way. I think that there's always something better when we go through something difficult. There's
Amen.
always a lesson to be learned in every single season. And I learned things about myself. I was selfish. I was many things. You know, we don't want to look inward. We want to look at other people and blame other people outwardly. But for me, I chose to look inward to myself to figure out what I did wrong, what I could do better. I made the choice that necessarily was not for me. And God said, okay, that's, and my ex-husband, wonderful guy. I wish him well. He's a great guy. And it just was not for me. So we
Excellent.
move forward, and just to show an example of, we don't all have to fall apart to
Amen.
move. We don't have to lose everything to go forward. But I'm willing to lose stuff, but not myself.
Wonderful. And I'm glad, I just wanted to address that, because I know, some of the women that I have as clients and I have had as clients, they maybe, products of divorce, they may be on their second, third marriages, but that was a point I wanted to address. Now, I want to pivot a little bit, bringing it back more to estate planning and how our professions, they're complementary. And one of the things that I talk about in my videos and on my YouTube channel is that estate planning, if used properly, can stem the loss of generational wealth, particularly in our community,
Yes.
right? And proper planning, and I'm all constantly beating that drum. And we, because of lack of planning and just putting our heads in the sand, we have lost billions, I dare say, in assets, other property, because we simply do not take the steps necessary in order to be proactive instead of reactive. We're leaving messes behind when we die to our surviving loved ones.
That's right.
In your job, in your profession as a realtor, now as a broker, how important, or how does that, I guess, to you, you're stemming the loss of generational wealth, one, and two, talk to how the importance of doing estate plan is about being a good steward, and how you are modeling that for your children.
I'm a person who will talk to anyone when we're talking about how we take title to property. I'll tell them all the time, I'm not the expert, and I incline you to please consult an attorney before you make this step. If I talk to young women who are purchasing with boyfriends and, cohabitating, all these sorts of things. And I always say we have to make sure that we are protecting the bag. We always say we got to secure the bag. We got to protect the bag too. We can't just get it. We got to make sure we secure it for real. Meaning we have to make sure we make future plans and think about it for later. So in me moving forward, like with my brokerage and different things, I'm making sure that I'm laying the foundation now that I can transition those assets of the brokerage. My broker license can go to my children. My children can apply to the state and actually assume responsibility for those. That's a tangible asset that we can have. But I have to make sure that I have a will. I have a will I need to update, but I need to make sure that I do that and that those things are in place, whether it's a trust or whatever it is, that you have to make sure that you're forward thinking enough. 3 years ago, I went and called Harmony Cemetery and had someone come out to my home, talk to me about paying for a plot. I just got an email about a week ago saying, your deed is paid in full for your plot. You have a piece of property at Harmony National Memorial Cemetery in Landover, Maryland. Come and pick up your deed. It's important that we start to think about it. And no one is dying in my family, praise God. No one is dying, no one is sick, no one is hurting. But we have to be prepared just in case they are. And for me, that was a step that I took when I didn't have $89 extra a month to do that. But I did it anyway. And on the first every month, that payment came out. And to know it's now paid for in full is a relief for me. My mom is 75 years old. You know, it's not if she's going to go, we all have to go. And when I leave, though, but I want to make sure that we leave our houses in order. I want to make sure I leave my house in order and start to getting it in order now. And no, we don't want to think about that and preparing my children for that time when it comes, because it will come, not if it comes, when it comes. So I just always implore people to really, really think about it when you're buying a home. What is it that you want to have happen to it? You know, what do we do with it? How do you protect it? Not just get it. It's not something just to get. And when you leave it here, it's worth something. That I'm helping you to secure something that is actually going to be a benefit to your family and not, you know, a burden, you know, whether you maintain it. Like I said, taking the proper steps to make sure that you have paperwork in order to say that, you know, this is what you want to have happen. Most people will live in Big Mama's house for generations, but nobody actually owns Big Mama's house. The state has it. And if they don't pay the taxes, that's the first telltale sign when we often find out and we see those homes lost to the government. They call it as cheat. The government has cheated you out of your estate. They cheat you out of your inheritance. They cheat you out of your birthright and what was laid up in, you know, in theory for you. But because they didn't take the necessary steps, our families lose it. And we have to stop doing that. We have to take responsibilities for ourselves and help our friends, families, loved ones, our sister girlfriends. When we're having conversations, let's incorporate some of that future planning in those conversations, not just about buying bags and shoes and things that, you know, nobody really cares about. We want the big stuff, the stuff that really can change generations. You know, when my kid can have money to go to college, my kid can have money to start a business, you know, those types of things out of school. You know, I know people who started real estate in their early 20s. Those people are doing very well right now. Millionaires that live right around here that you wouldn't even know. Very unassuming. So
Tina
for me,
Marie, you're in everything that you do, your businesses, including the real estate. I know you have two children, but I want to focus on Ari for a second, a young little superstar that she is. What does she think of mom, you know, as this like incredible businesswoman? I mean, surely, you know, you have to know that you're making an impact on her, and that's really part of your legacy. And when I talk to individuals and families about creating legacies, you're creating a legacy every day of your life. You know, and if you have children, you are modeling in my world what good stewardship is like by the way you handle your business, if you get what I'm saying. Absolutely. But also in your life as well. So what does Ari think about mom?
She's up there stomping around now. I'm supposed to be online school, but she thinks that I'm the most amazing person. She's my biggest cheerleader. She's my biggest fan. When I tell you the look on her face when I passed my broker's license, she was speechless. And both of us, we like to talk. We're chatty Cathy's. She was speechless. She celebrates me like no one else. I got that from my mom. My mom taught me how to be a boss. My mom taught me how to, when people didn't even know what bosses were. My mother would be the woman who was out there changing her carburetor. My dad died on my 9th birthday. And instead of sitting around and crying, she had never worked. She was a volunteer at Department of Social Services in Palmer Park in Landover. She picked herself up the very next day. She went out there and they gave her a paying position. She showed me what it was like to be able to press forward in any situation. She had 7 children and no income. And she went out there and she made it happen. Now, we didn't have it easy by any stretch. She made it happen and she made the difficult choices every day. She instilled that in me that you don't quit, you don't lay down and let people mistreat you, that you go up and you stand up for yourself and you always do things right by people. Treat people well and they hopefully will treat you the same. Like, you know, do right by people no matter what. And be a woman of your word and integrity. So for me, those things are cornerstones in my household and my family. I try to demonstrate that for her every single day and try to truly model that behavior. Now, I'll lose my stuff around here. Don't get me wrong. But I still always try to bring it back to being prayerful, to be thankful, and to be grateful in all things, in all situations. To never take anything for granted because it truly could be much different. And it's only by the grace of God that we are able to be in this position. So forgive me, I get a little emotional, but forgive
No,
it's
that's all right.
grateful for everything that the Lord has done for me. And I don't take it lightly.
And you jumped ahead of me because I was going to ask you what sources, what could you tell our audience? And you already did. So we are both on the same wavelength. Listen, as we are going to the top of the hour here, I want people to know how they can connect with you. How can they contact you if they need real estate service or any of the other businesses that you
they can always call
this empire that you're.
That was unheard of in my family. It's 301-275-6500 is my cell. You can reach me anytime, 365 days a year. You can like, share, and comment on my Facebook or my Instagram. It's Her Fabulous Life on Instagram, and on Facebook, I'm Tina Marie Marshall. So I thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm so honored to be here. And I pray that, again, that your viewers will seek out myself, my company, Maryland Prime Realty Company, and that they will seek out your services. More importantly, that they will secure the bag for our future, for our children's future, to really truly leave something other than bills or a GoFundMe. We have to do better. We have to be better. I'm thankful for our ancestors. I'm thankful for everything that they have done before us, but let's not abuse the sacrifice and not misuse the sacrifices that they made and take them for granted. So I'm so grateful for where I am and for where I'm going. And you said it truly. I still feel like I'm in awe of my own life sometimes and where God has brought me to. And I know that he's not through. He's still saying, I got a million more things for you to do. So I just stay ready and I get prepared so that I don't have to get ready. I'm already ready. Just ready to go where he wants me to go. My little shadow, she's right here. Wait,
hello, my love. Tina Marie, I want to, because we need to wrap it up, but I want to just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story, your testimony, because without, there is no testimony without a test. Amen. And the empowered women, the women who are winning in this life, always have a testimony. It's not easy, but what I'm seeking to do is to showcase women like you, women like me, who are building, who are striving, and we're seeking to pull other women up.
Amen.
With us, right?
That's right.
That's right. Rising tide lifts all boats. So that's where I'm coming from, and that's my spirit. And I'm so glad that you, hello, Ari. I am so glad that you are a part of this. Everyone, I want, if you've already heard how you can get in contact with this amazing now broker, Tina Marie Marshall. Thank you so much, Tina. Have a great day.
Too. God bless you all. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in to Women Winning Wednesdays. To learn more about today's guest, check out the information that she provided. It'll also be provided in the comments when this video is on replay. And if you need help getting your legal and financial affairs in order through estate planning, like our Facebook page at the law offices of Elsa W. Smith. And for free educational videos on estate planning, you can like and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Elsa W. Smith Law. Join us next week for another live segment of Women Winning Wednesdays. I am Elsa W. Smith, your Maryland estate planning attorney, saying thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week. Take care and be blessed.